Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cinema and Theatre Break Show, where we keep it 100% cinema and theatre. And stopping by today is one of those actors you'll want just to see them act. You just want to see them both on screen and both on stage. On Cinema and Theatre Break Show, karibu sana, Tirath, Padam.
How are you?
I'm doing good. That's how I call. Your name is called.
Well, I think now I'd like to be called Tirath Singh.
Tirath.
I don't. Padam is my family name, and I don't
Okay.
associate much with the family name anymore. So Tirath Singh is what I
Singh.
use these days.
Amazing. The last time I was with you was during the premiere of Subira, the feature film.
Yeah.
And this is around 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
has it been?
It's been a journey. Yeah, Subira was, I think, still is the highlight of my career so far. It was my first feature film. It's the first film I ever did, because I'd done some theater before that.
Right.
It was the first time I was in front of the camera. And it actually, surprised me in so many ways. And it's been a learning curve since then, I think. Just been a few ups, a few downs. Mostly been doing theater across Nairobi, even in Kisumu and at the coast.
Amazing.
So that's been what's been keeping me busy.
Amazing.
And yeah, that's how it's been so far.
Amazing. Let's just go into, I'm really interested with your story. I want to know, how did all this begin in the beginning of your career? What influenced you to join acting, whether it's on stage or whether it's on film? What influenced you? Are there any people? Are there any movies? Was there any culture? Was it something that pushed you to tell a story or to express yourself? How was it?
Well, I've been into storytelling since I was a young boy. I went to St. Mary's School here in Westlands. And for those who know St. Mary's, they know that St. Mary's has had a theatre culture from the day it was opened. The Holy Ghost Fathers who built the school really wanted students who come to that school to have a holistic education. So rugby, theatre, and education or academics were the three pillars that the school stood on. So since the time it was built, we have some great personalities who've come out of St. Mary's. We've got Eric Wainaina, who's a musician and a storyteller. Charles J. Ouda, who recently passed on, may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
He was a mentor of mine early on in St. Mary's. And he was also an actor. Went to New York, came back, but would always come back to school as an alumni and train students that were there. So I started at St. Mary's School, learned, I was a dancer as a kid, performing at weddings, family weddings, Indian weddings, they last like a month long. So so every single family wedding or friend's wedding or father's customer's wedding, I would be performing there.
Amazing.
And when I went to Saints, that's when I was able to turn that passion into something tangible, and that became theatre. Through the theatre programs and the theatre shows that were there. And so that's where it really started, and I was like, I really enjoy this. Being able to, step outside your regular life, take on a character and tell a story.
Amazing.
This is my lane. I'm going to stay here. So that's where it started.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Subira is still a highlight of your entrance into the film industry.
Yeah.
And from the naysayers, the blogs and everything, I heard you auditioned 5 times for Subira.
I did.
Amazing.
I did.
How was it?
So I think when I say auditioned 5 times, it was the process, actually.
All right.
And looking back, that's exactly how it needed to have happened. Yes, it may sound like, oh wow, you put in so much effort for just to get the role. But in actual sense, the first audition was basically just the tryout, and then I had to go in and perform with potential other actors, be caught on screen with Brenda. There was an audition that I had with Brenda because they wanted Brenda to play Subira, and of course they had to check whether my chemistry would work with her, whether we'd look good on camera together, whether it fits the dynamic of the story. So the third audition was with Brenda. Then I had an audition with Ali, who played my dad, Ali Mwangola. Had to figure out whether that dynamic worked on camera. And then I think finally we did another screen test. I don't know if it was for the look of the character or something. And then I think the director, Sipi, across the table just looked at me and she's like, yeah, I think you have the role. So it was a bit bittersweet. I was like, I've been here 5 times, so I don't know, maybe I should have the role, maybe. But it was, if you look back at it, it sounds like, you know, it was such a challenge, but it happened just the way it needed to.
But I think that's the way to go, just putting in the work.
Yeah.
Guys, the film that you're talking about, it's Subira, and it's currently on Netflix. You can go there and watch the film and just step into Tirath acting prowess and just get to enjoy the film so that you know what maybe we are talking about. Yeah. So just, are there any films that really inspired you just to join the industry, or people, to be specific, apart from now the St. Mary's, you know, theater culture? Are there any films or people that inspired you to join the industry?
Films, oof, I'm a big epic fantasy fan. Yeah, and you know, stories that come from adapted from books, things like The Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. Now I'm really into the Dune series, wanting to go back and actually read those books to see where it's coming from.
Oh, Dune is from books?
Yeah, Dune is also from a book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So those are the films that really inspired me. I like stuff that is slightly ancient in nature, tells the historical story, or takes us back a little bit. So all those films growing up I was really into. And they inspired me because they tend to be very theatrical also. They're, you know, it's not the regular sitting and having a conversation over the dinner table. It's like, we need a horse, we need a dragon, we need, you know, a kingdom, we need 3,000 extras, you know, that kind of stuff. That was really exciting. I'm like, do people actually live like this every day? And for Game of Thrones, you know, clear off areas of land to build a whole set. Huge. To burn it down. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, that was very exciting, and I was like, I always want to reach to that level that I can say, oh, I was part of something like this. Those were really big inspirations. People, I think, yeah, just all the actors who are in these films, really, they were just inspiring. And in terms of, you know, who I relate to in terms of actors, Johnny Depp is an actor I relate to so much. And now Timothy Chalamet, who's, I think, taking over the baton and playing roles that he played in the past. The slightly bizarre, quirky, intense, neurotic characters, those are the things, even going forward. What I played in Subira was very mellow, respectful, you know, family man, gets married, you know, lovely story, but I kind of want to transition into playing like the Mad Hatter in Alice in the Wonderland. Amazing. Or the Pirates of the Caribbean, what's his name, Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow. You know, playing quirky characters like that.
Something that pushes you to the limits.
Exactly.
Now, these, if I can say, you know, Subira came out, these are like 7 years ago. So I can...
I look different, by the way. I look very different.
Yeah, you do.
From that time.
I also do.
We were making this joke earlier. It's like we were both tiny. We were tiny. Yeah, cut to photo, please, wherever it is.
So, yeah, looking at this one, I can say you've been here for like 7 years in the industry. Yeah. Now, when you joined this industry, what has been the dynamics of just going through the industry? Because I know after Subira, there's another shot you did with the Nest Collective, and then just how has been the dynamics of just flowing through the industry for the 7 years after Subira?
I think my focus has heavily been on theatre, because I've been very fortunate to meet directors from the time I left high school. I was very fortunate to meet a few directors who, one, are able to cast an actor of my look and ethnicity, because you know, they're able to tell those stories. So I've been very lucky, touch wood. I've been able to make these connections with certain directors, and a lot of them are theater directors.
Okay.
So whenever there's a project coming up, I feel like I've been more busy doing theater, which is fantastic for any actor out there. If you really want to become an actor, whether it's on screen or on stage, start on stage, because it will really give you the foundations to become a great actor, because most of the great actors started on stage. And that technique is really important. But yeah, I've been very fortunate to be doing theater in connection with these directors, and that's been more frequent than film. I feel like with film, there's been calls for auditions, and I've gone through them, and I've gone through the briefs, and I know producers and directors will say, "Ay, who does he think he is now?" But I've gone through them. I've gone through them, and you read, right? You get an invite for an audition, you get the roles, the descriptions, and you read and you say, okay, maybe there's no role for me here, or none of these descriptions fit me. You know, athletic, tall, African male. Why would I go and audition for that? Like, seriously, I wouldn't, right? And that's why I think there's not been much for film, which is why, thinking ahead, in the past 2 years, I've really been thinking about going into writing. Because the Kenyan Indian story is also a really beautiful one. I'm so glad that the Kenyan story in itself is being told, that Kenyan writers and directors are telling the Kenyan story. And that's beautiful, and it should keep going on. But it'll reach a point in time where I think even the Kenyan Indian story will start coming out. And there's a few writers doing their work for theater. But I think I want to join that wave of Kenyan Indian writers who are telling now the Kenyan Indian story. Because Bollywood and the Hindi film industry are doing their work for telling the Indian story. What happens to all the migrants who came here? There's a huge community here. So there's, I think, thousands of stories that can be told. So if I can join that wave and then start doing that, then you'll see me more often on screen, I think, because it'll be specific to my look. Because let's be honest, like if it's a very Kenyan story and it calls for, you know, a Luo actor or a Kikuyu actor or a Kamba actor, there's no way anybody's going to cast me. It's like everybody else will be like, why have they cast that guy?
You don't look like a Luo.
No, definitely not. So yeah, so I think it goes back to the material. You know, no regret, no loss in the past, but it's more about what material is out there and what fits me. I did play a role of a doctor on Varshita once. And it was really stereotypical, you know, with the very bad accent, that stuff.
And they made you a little bit old, I remember.
No, I think I think that was a different person's role, but I was playing with that actor that day. It was stereotypical, but I tried to make it different. And I sat, after being on set, I sat down and I was like, I don't want to play those roles. Because it's very easy for you to be typecast then. And I know a few actors who are getting a lot of work here because they're able to do the typecast really well. And because of my theater background and having stretched my craft a bit, it's like that's not challenging for me.
You need to be versatile. You need roles that gives you, they just push you to the limit and make you, like, you know, diversify.
Exactly.
So would you consider this like a major challenge of you not getting more roles?
Like being overqualified, maybe? I don't know.
No, like you are, I know I might be called out. I don't know, is it color, is it ethnicity? Like your ethnicity. You know, Kenya is a beautiful country, and the best thing is I think we accommodate everyone.
We do. Most
of the time, people just don't see color, don't see anything. Because I remember I've interacted, even when we are here with you, I'm just seeing a fellow human being, a fellow Kenyan. There's no, I think. But you think when it comes to this now, the roles, and you've explained it very well, but for you, I want just to know, is it like a major challenge for you not to getting more roles, your color, your origin, your ethnicity and stuff?
No, I don't think it's a challenge in that sense. Again, I go back to the and we were talking about this earlier, the product,
Yes.
or the story, or the films that are being told. Just to be realistic and not overthink it, there's no story or any role that's being written for an actor of my type.
All right.
And that means that I'm not going to get the roles. It doesn't mean that I haven't been given work or I'm not getting work. It's just that the work on the local scene might not be there, which is why the inspiration to start writing that work is coming. It was very interesting because you spoke about the second project I shot called The Nest.
Yes.
By The Nest. It was called The More Things Change, a YouTube film which can be watched as well.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting collaboration of story, because it's a Kenyan history story. It was in 3 parts. The part that I was in was in the past.
Okay.
And this was around the coup time, media sensitization, all of that. So I played an Indian journalist at the coup time with other Kenyan journalists and another Indian journalist.
Amazing.
So that kind of story needs to be written more for me to get the roles.
Yes.
Because the minute they wrote that story and I got a phone call, I said yes immediately. Because I was like, this is the kind of story that needs to be told. And it was very easy. Not easy in the sense of, acting is easy. It's not.
Yeah.
But it felt effortless in a way, that there was a story being told, there was a role for a person that looks like me, and the story is good, and it was a nice collaboration. So now we have to start thinking out of the box, and really involve creatives and writers and actors and directors of all ethnicities.
Yes.
And just collaborate with everybody. Like if you're writing a love story about, let's say, Njeri and Kamau, think outside the box.
Yeah.
Don't just write about Njeri and Kamau. Write about Akshay, Njeri's friend, which is very common because we all went to school with an Akshay. Or we all went to school with a Kamau.
Yeah,
so it's like, just think outside the box and
Yeah.
give those people the roles. Because when that starts happening, then I'll start getting more work.
In my high school, we had he was called Sean, and he's of an Indian ethnicity.
Yeah.
We went with him in high school from one to the end.
Yeah.
So he was very friendly, and by the time you're leaving school, he has that connection of he has a friend who is Luo, he has a friend who is Luya, he has a friend. So I think what you're saying is very right, and looking at that particular type of story, you'll find, even if benchmarking on that by the next film, this is a journalist from the time that even Indians are good journalists.
Oh yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And most of, if you might not know it even by yourself, most of the history photos that we have in this country, most of them, they're from Indians.
Yeah.
You know that?
True.
Yeah, most of the history photos. So let's talk about theater, because I see you're really doing good with theater. What is keeping you going with theater? What keeps you going when it comes to theater?
Theater is, that's the beginning. That's where it started. I remember the first time I was on stage till today.
Yeah.
And again, bringing up Charles Ouda, himself and a lady called Mkamze Motela.
Yes.
They were both alumni of the school. They are both alumni of the school. And I remember being in my, what year was I in? Standard 5 or Standard 6, that early on. And just getting trained by them to be a part of this musical. I think it was Oklahoma, the musical at that time. And again, this is, St. Mary's made you do these musicals that are like old school American musicals that are foundations of American actors.
Amazing.
So being in that process, I still remember it. But it's that fire that I got on the first day on stage that still keeps me going till today. Is when I get onto stage and I'm playing a part and I'm taking up a role, I feel that same fire I felt on the first day, that same passion, and that's what keeps me going. But the second reason is theater is my fitness. It's my like joy activity. It's my networking activity. It's where I meet lots of new people. So it's something I actually can't do without. So whether my film acting career takes off or not, I'll never stop doing theater.
Wow.
It challenges you in so many ways, because as a theater actor, if you're doing musicals, which I predominantly do, musicals require you to sing, act, and dance.
Yeah.
And there's no time to dilly-dally and hang about or be lazy, because you have to be physically fit, your vocals have to be correct, and you have to be able to act.
Yeah.
So again, taking it back to all actors who want to start on stage, sweat it out, and then go onto screen, because screen's a different kind of sweating. It's a mental sweating. So just start on stage. And
stage is physical and mental. You just
Yeah.
get in it, all of it.
Yeah, it's a sports event. A theater show is a sports event. It doesn't get that much recognition. But anytime I'm preparing for a theater show, I prepare for 3 to 5 months.
Oh, wow.
Every single time there's preparation for 3 to 5 months, and that includes getting your fitness up to par, your vocals, trying to be as healthy as you can, even with after work activities, and just really staying focused. So it's an adrenaline rush. It's my sport.
What is your creative process? Let's say now you've been given this script, you're playing this on stage, and you're like, so for you, you'll play this role. How do you dive in so that you can get the role? You know, they normally say most of the work is by you, the actor. How is your creative process when just getting ready for the roles?
So the directors I've worked with are they're really good, in the sense of they really explain to you and show you what they want, which I guess it works in some situations. So the directors I've worked with here kind of really tell you what they want, which is easier, because then you just have to mold what you're doing towards what they want. Because at the end of the day, they're the captain of the ship, so you have to follow with a bit of your inspiration. My process, if I read something, or if I hear a pitch from my director, or they talk about a story, if I don't feel an instant connection to it, then maybe I shouldn't do it. But if I feel an instant connection to it, then I'm all in. And then it's just about, if it's physically challenging, like the show I've currently taken a break from, but we're coming back again. It's Leo's Search for a New Home. It's an ocean conservation musical being produced by the EU and a company called Karagozi Theatre, which is puppet theatre.
Okay.
And for a role like that, we're not just singing and dancing, we're holding life-size puppets that are probably like this size or double the size, and you have to move with the puppet as well, kind of like the Lion King on Broadway. It's larger than life. So with something like that, physically, I have to be fit, I have to be ready, I have to, so then you start preparing physically.
I think one thing I'm getting from you is, I don't know if it's the right word to use, you take these personally, all these roles, whether it's on film or whether it's on stage. Because when it comes to film, you said you have to look at the role and think about the role, immerse yourself in the role and think, can I play this role? And the same thing I'm hearing when it comes to stage. What do you think is the importance of this for an actor, especially those guys who are coming in? You know, some people just see you on stage being wow, and they're like, okay, that's easy. That's easy. And you say you've gone through the rehearsals, the dance, your feet, you're watching your diet. You're there, and from your explanation, you're taking it personal. What is the importance of this, especially for the actors who are coming in?
I mean, there's different methods to being an actor, no doubt. You know, you can be an actor of very many different kinds. I personally was taught how to be a method actor.
Amazing.
In my early days. And method actors take their roles personally. So it depends on what school of acting you come from. Being a method actor, it asks you to, you know, learn the history of that character, put yourself in those shoes, step into the lifestyle of that actor. So that's always why I take it so personally, because I am a method actor. And I'm not saying it's the best form of acting. There's other forms that work really well. The reason it's unique is because you put yourself at a place that nobody else is putting themselves at. And that makes it very easy for a normal person watching to connect with you. I had an acting trainer from India who had come to Kenya to do a workshop for a week, Anupam Kher, a very, very successful actor in the Hindi film industry. I was told not to say Bollywood because Bollywood, apparently Bollywood is offensive to people who are within the Indian industry for filmmaking. They call it the Hindi film industry.
No, hold on. Hold on.
Yeah.
All along, we know movies from Hollywood is Hollywood.
Yeah.
Then we have Nigerians, Nollywood.
Yeah.
Then we are used to Bollywood.
Yeah.
Growing up, I knew this is an Indian film industry. It's Bollywood.
Yeah.
And then from China, maybe science, drama and stuff.
Yeah.
Why are they not accepting the Bollywood?
So there's a documentary on Netflix actually about it.
Okay.
I think for the world and for mass public in India also, Bollywood is a term that the world has latched onto. But people who are actively working in the Hindi film industry, they don't like that word. So they feel like it takes away from the history of how far the Indian film industry has come. So that's why the Hindi film industry.
Okay. Let's come back.
But he's Anupam Kher is a big actor in India. And has global reach. He's been in films I mean, he was on Sense8, which is a Netflix series.
I remember Sense8.
And he's been in a few Hollywood films as well. He runs his own acting academy in India. He was here for a week training. And lots of respect to him, always. But he says that, if you've ever been able to tell a lie, you can act.
Okay.
Because acting is about telling some sort of a lie. Respect the method, and I learned some of that from him. But over the years, as I've continued acting, I've realized, I take it very personally when I take on a role. And it's about honesty for me.
Okay.
It's about how truthfully can I play this character? How honestly can I play this character? How much of myself can I put in this character? And for me, if I can't honestly portray something, then I don't think someone will relate to it.
Okay.
So that's why it's really important for me to take it personally. And maybe that's just from the school of thought that I come from.
Amazing. What we do as creatives, as actors, we have moments that we feel like I can't keep going. I should step back. Have you ever experienced such moments, and how did you just face it and overcome it?
Yeah, yeah. Whew. Yeah. That's the first moment I felt that was when I left high school and I applied for a drama academy in New York. Okay. I'd applied to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, which is in New York, and I got a place. I had minor scholarships, didn't get enough to take me. And at that time, my family said they would not send me to the school. At the point, I think, where the family was at when I just left high school, it could have become a possibility. Financially, I think we were fortunate enough for me to be able to go to that school. But the family decided not to send me. And that's the first time I felt like, what? For this whole time, I've had this passion in high school and I've played these roles. And yes, I've not earned money, but there's been recognition. Yeah. There's been celebration of, hey, Tirath, that guy from Saints, he's an actor. Okay. But when the time came to take the next level, it wasn't received very well from family. Those are stereotypes we won't talk about. But when it really felt tough, that was the first time, and it had nothing to do monetarily or anything. And in a way, it was a blessing, because then I learned that, my whole life can't revolve around being an actor, at least starting in Kenya, because again, like we've spoken before, there's a few actors here who are able to sustain their livelihoods with being actors, and a lot of them have worked for many years. So fortunately, from that space, I'm also a qualified hairstylist and beauty consultant.
Amazing.
And I've been working with that for the past 7-8 years as well.
Amazing.
And it taught me how to now become entrepreneurial and think outside the box and see where I'm going to earn my money from so that I can be able to sustain my creativity. And I think that's something important for all actors to have. And Kenya is such a beautiful place in the sense of you could go into farming, you could go into consulting, you can do so many things in this economic phase that we are at.
And I still be actively acting.
Yeah, and still be actively acting, because we're still at that green stage of establishing our industry.
Yeah.
So actors need to again think outside the box and see where else they can, put their efforts to earn money while they're establishing themselves as actors. So if it gets tough, like it did at that point, I was like, okay, I want to study to be an actor, but now I'm not going. So now what do I do? So I went into beauty school and I started training as a hairstylist and a beauty consultant. And that gave me a second parallel career to run as I was working on this. So touch wood again, I've been very fortunate to have a career on the side that feeds my creativity. And it's something that every actor can do. It's not, you don't have to limit yourself. You can start a small business on the side, earn your money, and keep acting and keep pushing it. But still remember to dedicate time to the creative side, because there was also a time where I knew I was not making any money out of acting. And I put a stop on, saying yes to roles. I think it was just after Subira, actually. I realized that it didn't take me to a peak that I needed to get to in terms of career and finances. As recognition, it gave me a lot as a film. But then I switched off and focused on my beauty work for a couple of years. Then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So it was that whole phase of, okay, switch off from it. And I feel like this year I'm really just starting again in the creative field.
Thing.
So, yeah. So don't limit yourself, basically, is the point of it. Even when it gets tough, don't limit yourself, but then also don't forget why you're doing it.
Yes. Because why should always be...
Yeah. Because the perception is, actors are making a lot of money. You go into a project and you're like, yeah, this is the money I want to make. But if you sit down and do your math, especially for small production companies in Kenya, they themselves are not making that much money. They might have funding from here and there, but they're really working so hard even to get that 50 to 100K to be able to fund the show to go on stage or to fund the show to be shot. So as actors, learn the production process, learn where the money is coming from, learn how much effort your producers and directors are putting in so that you're able to become part of that journey. And you'll eventually get to a point where you can make a lot of money from it. But don't limit yourself and say that this is all you're going to do and you're going to give up on it totally if it doesn't give you money. Because the reason you started is because you were passionate about it.
About this.
So remember the passion first.
You've talked highly of Charles Ouda.
Yeah.
May his soul rest in peace. How did it affect you in a way? Because, he's someone you knew from back in school, and then, he's no longer with us. Did it affect you in a way? Was it some of your lowest moments?
Yeah, it was a big low. It was a huge low. And I've talked to a lot of people around that time when he passed away, people that we went to school with, people that knew him at the same time I knew him. We were all kids at high school. And he was this alumni from the school who would come when we're done with school, be that cool guy, take us for drinks after, because we're getting to that age where, we want to go out. He was really like, he would love this wherever you are. He was really like a godfather in acting for a lot of us. And a lot of actors will tell you that, because he taught us the skills of method acting for those who he taught method acting, but he also taught us how to be human beings. He, through rehearsals, would teach us techniques, and then after he'd be like, hey, let's go have a drink, or let's go hang out here, or let's chill here, or let's talk about life. And the girls were very comfortable with him in school, the guys were very comfortable with him. So he had this outreach to people that was so personal, and everyone felt comfortable talking to him about something, he was everyone's therapist, he was everyone's teacher, he was a very hardworking actor himself. And this was his life. Acting was his life. You know, like I'm saying, I was very fortunate to pick another career. I have no idea, even if I knew him early in the day, I have no idea of what his struggle must have been to focus his entire life into acting. You can't know what he was struggling with. But yeah, it really affected me because my passion started with him. He really, as an alumni coming back to train us in school, he's the one who like lit that flame and made it something structured. Because before it was just like, I like dancing, so I'm gonna dance. But Charlie was like, no, there's a whole method, there's a whole history, there's a whole line of people that you can learn from. So learn from it and grow from there. So big loss. He left a big hole initially, and then and I think we're all still kind of understanding and going through the motions. But yeah, huge loss. And he had just come back to Kenya and was really making some strides as an actor, as a producer, as a writer even, I think. He was just, like I said, starting again, like I am. And very sad to see him go. But that's a conversation for a higher realm, not for us.
Yes. That's why at the end of this show, I normally say, let's keep making the world a better place to live in. Because people like him, they're the people who will be dear to our hearts, no matter how much time it's going to take, no matter how long that they'll be gone. But at the end of the day, we say, it's the way for us, but let's keep making the world a better place. And so,
sorry, I think even just visiting all his memorials from the time he passed away, I think it even inspired me more to keep going and to even dedicate less time into my day job and focus more on the creative side.
Amazing.
Because you can see how much joy and passion he created from his work. And that if that's not inspiration enough for you to keep going, for those who knew him, you better get going and do the work, because Charlie was doing the work. So yeah, just keep that fire and that passion going. And I think that's him passing away also somehow ignited the flame again. So yeah, it's just onward and upward now and focusing on doing more creative work.
I'm wishing you all the best. I'm rooting for you all the best.
Thank you.
We want to see more of you. We want to see more of you. The reason I'm telling you why I said I should have a conversation with you is from what I saw then. And I was like, we need to see more of this guy. What do you think is the current state of the Kenyan film industry with global recognition and all that? Do you think we are somewhere? Because I know now you're in the industry, you should be able to understand the dynamics that are happening in the industry.
I think we are somewhere.
Yeah.
I think, again, we're still at a beginning, but we're somewhere. Kenyan films being on Netflix is, I think, one of the biggest things.
It's a big win for
that
us.
Started and is happening regularly now. That's a huge step, because with Netflix, anybody, anywhere in the world could watch us. That's enough global outreach. Could we get more support from the KFC, Kenya Film Commission, not the chicken? KFC, the Kenya Film Commission, can we get more support? Can we get more, just a stronger foundation? Yes, we can. It can always get better, but I think they're making efforts. Like I attended the Kenya Theatre Awards, was it last month?
Yes.
And it was at Safari Park, and the way it was organized and the nominations.
This time it was big, I think.
And cash prizes, I think. Were they cash prizes? Yeah, cash prizes being given to winners. I was like, hey, okay, Sawa, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Arts
Talanta Hill and stuff.
Okay, I see that there's effort being made.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's exciting.
Yeah.
So we're still at a beginning. It's an exciting beginning. We're getting somewhere. But I take it again back to the product is writers, actors, directors, go back into your rooms, start doing the work, because we're at the beginning of the slope, and this slope is going to take off, and you want to start riding this wave, especially right now. And because of social media, the world has become such a small place. Me sitting in Kenya in my bedroom, I can create a lot of impact by just doing the work I do and putting it out there. So stop waiting, just go for it. Just take that jump.
This is just also inclusivity in terms of storytelling. We should just I feel we should reach out to everyone and everyone, especially we have Kenya Writers Guild, and very soon we'll be having Kajetan Boy. He's the secretary of the Kenya Writers Guild. They should have also inclusivity of storytellers, you know, just get people from everywhere. Like if you want to write a story about Somalis, get a Somali writer who understands them. You want to write a story about the Indian, the Chinese, you know, all these people, because this country, walk around, you'll see we have so many ethnicities in this country. What do you do apart from the acting world and the both stage and theater? What are those kind of things you do in Kenya just for fun?
For fun, recently it's exploring the country.
Amazing. Tembea Kenya.
Tembea Kenya. Magical hashtag magical Kenya.
Magical Kenya.
That's been my hashtag with all my posts these days, because in all my Instagram posts now there's a photo of me somewhere random in Kenya, and I'm like, this country is beautiful. This country is so beautiful. I don't know why people travel out, actually. You know, as a young boy, I always was like, I want to leave and make myself an actor somewhere else. But the more time I spend here, I'm like, why would I want to leave?
Why would I leave?
Yeah, why would I want to leave? Exploring the country, just going to remote parts which are easily an hour and a half out of Nairobi, and just breathing that fresh air, seeing that greenery, taking your shoes off and walking barefoot. That's the stuff I like.
Amazing. Any place to be specific that you've been to and you're like, I don't want to go back to Nairobi. I want to be here. Any specific place?
Diani. Diani in the coast is my favorite spot in Kenya. Just being South Coast it's a blessing. And anyone from anywhere in the world who travels to go there always leaves with the same feeling. And can you imagine we were born in that country? So Diani is the place that I love going to very regularly. And also recently I discovered a place called Champagne Ridge.
It's in Kenya.
It's in Kenya. Champagne Ridge is in Kenya. It is an hour and a half or 2 hours at most out of Nairobi towards Ngong. And it's the most beautiful place I've seen up until now. At the top of a hill, and you're looking out at just like acres and acres of green land.
Wow. With
no light, no building, no nothing. The air is so clean, the air is so fresh. And you know, it's always this comparison we make, you know, about the Wazungus and the colonialists who came and they explored the country. They kept such places hidden to themselves because they knew how valuable they were. And the beauty is now that Kenyans and Indian Kenyans are waking up to these places, and you go visit these places and you're like, what?
This place has been here.
Yeah, this place has been here. So exploring the country, I've been doing that. And then dancing. I go back to dancing all the time. Some people will say partying or raving because they see me out every weekend and they're like, "Ai, uyu ni kukunywa, sherehe na kila kitu." But it's actually, I go out to listen to good music, to dance, and to meet people. I love meeting other human beings. It doesn't matter where in the world you're from. I'll go up to you and I'll be like, "Hey, where are you from?" And that's my thing. So that's what I do to switch off from being a hairstylist and being an actor.
Amazing. Yeah. What are your future aspirations, Tirath? We want to see more of you. Apart from just writing, what is in store for us? Is there a new stage play you're working on? Is there a new film that you've started writing? Is there some roles we should expect? What are your future aspirations?
Thanks for bringing up the writing again. Writing is I think it's a long-term goal. Like that's where my career will, I think, solidify itself, is becoming writer, director, actor. So that's a journey I still have to start. Yeah. So I'm thinking, I'm writing. We'll see.
You have to start.
But in the short term, I'm actually going into the studio and recording music.
Oh, amazing.
Music has always been an inspiration for me. Even when I'm acting and preparing for roles, I prepare a soundtrack of music that's on my phone that helps me connect to the character each time. So music is actually the heart of all of it.
Amazing.
And I've never had the bravery to jump into studio and write music. So I'm actually actively, currently, as of 3 or 4 weeks, I've been writing music. I have some rough tracks being worked on as we speak. So I'm going to release music first.
Which genre? Abaton?
No. None of that. No. None of that DJ lighter stuff. No. No way.
Okay.
It's going to be, it's weirdly very different from what I've done so far.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot of like Disney-inspired children's theater shows, musicals, you know, shows for children and families. But my music is going almost trap hip-hop,
okay,
but with Middle Eastern inspiration. So Pakistani, Persian inspirations. That's what my music is going to sound like.
Amazing.
So I'm excited about that. I will not take names for my producer and all. We've not discussed that yet.
Okay.
So, but music is coming out.
Amazing.
Within this, hopefully towards the end of the year, but I won't put a date on it. And Leo's Search for a New Home, the musical, ocean conservation musical by the European Union and Karagozi Theatre, we come back onto stage 9th of June.
All right.
We'll actually be traveling to Diani to perform this show in Diani because it's an ocean conservation musical. Why haven't we done it at the coast?
Yeah.
So we're going to go there and perform there, and it might be a recurring gig because it has such a strong social, cultural message. The producers really want to keep doing the show. So, hey guys, thankfully I have a recurring job as an actor. So
a working actor.
It's taken 8 years, but yeah. Yeah, that's a recurring job. And the producers have become friends now. So we really work closely. So that is happening again in June. And hopefully even later in the year. I'm supposed to hear back from I think mini-series or TV series that is supposed to be shot.
All right.
But again, no discussion has happened, so I will not spill the details. Yeah. But I can see that they are promoting some promo images for it on Instagram.
Then it's coming. It is coming.
We know how this industry works, so let's just
it is coming.
Take a breath and wait before I say, I'm in that project.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm so happy to have hosted you. You know, I always say no one can tell our stories better than we can tell our stories.
Yeah.
If someone is watching you today, what would you want to tell them, especially the guys who are now contemplating in joining the acting industry, both on stage or on screen? What would you want to tell them?
I just want to say start. Like, you know, with every other industry in the world, you want to become a footballer, start playing football. You want to become an accountant, go for an accounting course. You want to become an actor, do the work. Yeah. Put yourself out there and do the work. I have worked with 2 production companies here that are solely, they call themselves community theatre groups. And that's Braeburn Theatres, which is affiliated to the Braeburn Schools, and the Kenya Amateur Dramatic Society, which used to be called Karen Amateur Dramatic Society. Okay. I don't get paid for being in shows with them. I don't get a cent. But for me, going back to working with them is one, a networking opportunity, because a lot of expats work with these groups, and it's a great way to learn from a different perspective. But it's also for me to go back to the roots. It's to go back to scratch and be like, you're not getting paid for this work, but you're doing the work. You're doing the actor's work. That's where I can like make mistakes. I can learn. I can ask for advice, so that when I do get a professional gig, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. So no matter where you are at your level of acting, no matter where you are in our industry, which is still growing, go out there and do the work. Just start doing the work. And so at some point, like even sitting with you right now and talking about my career, I'm like, okay, we've done something, you know, like you've done something. But when you're at home or struggling in this industry, you're like, what is this? But it's just about doing the work.
Yes.
Keep going, and don't give anyone the opportunity to limit your footsteps. When you tell someone you're an actor, show them that you're an actor. Don't just say I'm an actor. Show them this is what I've done, and they'll take you seriously immediately. Sometimes I walk into rooms with people and they take me really seriously, and I'm like, I'm not even established yet, but it's because I take it very personally, like you said.
Yeah.
Give it your all and just start, and it'll make sense later on. Wow. Yeah. But also stop comparing yourself to others. I think that's something I've had to learn over time is, you know, I started out thinking I'm Johnny Depp, and I went for some auditions and some directors were like, you haven't got it yet, I'm sorry, but you know, you'll get there maybe, but you don't have it yet. And it felt bad at the time, but it was right. You know, like you compare yourself to people, or you want to be like somebody, or you think you're somebody, or you have, you know, the ego plays this trick on your head where you're like, I am someone because of where I've come from. No, let that go and just start working, and slowly your story will start moving in a way where you're like, Ebu, slow down. Yeah. Just come back.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
And this is powerful. This is powerful. Don't let anyone to limit you.
Yeah.
Start. Don't let anyone to limit you, and just go into it. As we finalize, we go to auditions as actors. We go to auditions. We are called for gigs. Sometimes they backfire.
Oh, and on that point, by the way, I still audition for my roles, even though I look like I'm getting many roles. I still audition. I had that conversation with some actors, and they were like, you're just getting these roles because you're working with a Mwindi director. Or, side note, Indian director.
Okay.
They think that, you know, you're just getting roles because you're working with a Mwindi or a Mzungu director, and they think that you're more relatable. No. I have to audition for those roles. So yeah, carry on.
Yes, we go for roles.
Yeah.
We go for auditions. Sometimes we get them. Sometimes we get rejected.
Yeah.
How do you deal with rejection?
Rejection is okay. The philosophy around that, or how I think about it, is rejection is not a me problem. It's a them problem. Technically speaking, the reasons you'll be rejected for a role are more complex than you think they would be. It doesn't mean that you're not a good actor. It doesn't mean that you don't have capabilities. It doesn't mean that you don't look good. It doesn't mean any of that. Logistically, maybe the company, you know, doesn't feel that your look and your personality or the way you carry yourself fits a certain role. It's something as basic as that. You know, maybe they looked at you and they said, this doesn't work. It's the pros and cons of being in our industry, where someone will look at you and they'll be like, this doesn't work, because you're the product at the end of the day. You know, when you're looking at a car or a packet of crisps, you're like, I know, so I'm not going to have that one. Same thing with us, is producers and directors will look at you and be like, that doesn't look good. And we actors start out being very personal about it, and you feel bad about it, and you feel like you're not going anywhere in your career. It has nothing to do with you. So let that pressure go off of your chest. It's a problem of production. That's the first thing. Second thing is sometimes but basically that's just it. It's just let that pressure go off of your chest, because it's not a you problem. The rejection is a problem bigger than you. So you just let it go, unless you know, for some reason there's been some foul play and you didn't get a role. But most of the time when that foul play is there, you'll hear about it, or you'll know about it eventually. So producers and directors, please be nice to your actors. But yeah, so just let that pressure go off your chest, because rejection is not, it's not about how capable you are or how good you are as an actor. It's just about what was happening with that project at that time. How can you deal with it? Keep working on your craft. Keep going on more auditions. And also, I think the industry should reach to that level where I should be able to ask a producer or director why I didn't get that role.
Amazing. Amazing.
Not in a way of you've stolen something from me or I'm blaming you for not giving me a role, but to have that professional conversation, because it is a professional conversation. If I feel as comfortable as an actor starting out, to be able to go to a producer or director and be like, hey, just wondering why I didn't get that role. The producer and actor should not take offense. The producer or director should not take offense and just give feedback.
Yeah.
Every other professional industry has feedback through email.
Yeah.
You get emails saying, thank you for attending our interview. We sadly won't give you the role because of ABCD, but thank you for coming. Let's be professional.
Yes.
Let's
it should happen also.
Let's go into that space.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And this will help you work on your craft.
Exactly.
Understand you did not choose me because of this and this and this.
Yeah.
Because I know when they send you audition size or audition calls, they already have a character bio.
Exactly.
And before going there, you put yourself in that character and you understand that I fit this role, so I can go for this role.
Yeah.
But then again, when you are told no, this role is not for you.
Yeah.
You're very right. They should give you just a note or a write-up or even on mail and tell you, no, we did not choose you, Lodeki, because of this and this and this.
Yeah.
So that you can work on your craft.
Exactly.
Wow.
It should just be a professional conversation. You know, it shouldn't be like, oh, I'm the producer and the director and I'm going to show you, the new actor, how things are done. No, it shouldn't be that way. It should just be, yeah, it should just be, hey, by the way, thanks for trying. It didn't work. You were not right for the role.
Yeah.
And that's the con of being in our industry. And it's, as an actor, you have to become so comfortable with that. Trust you me, in the recent times, the director I've worked with, she's from Poland. I respect her a lot and she knows this. But she comes from an industry where being an actor is as respected as being any other professional. And they're professionals who work at it every day and they work really hard. And so that she comes from that perspective of it's just another industry. Whereas here we're still learning you can also be an actor, which is fine. We'll take our time.
Yeah.
But the point with that is don't let anybody limit you, but also take responsibility of the profession that you're jumping into. You know, have these conversations with people, ask people, okay, what could I have done better there? Or, you know, that producer then didn't give you the role. Start a conversation with them and make that rapport and be like, hey, maybe not this one, maybe another role.
Next one.
But the con side of that being, you know, our industry is very superficial. It's about how you look first before, you know, your technique and all of that. So
what can you do?
Yeah, as an actor, become comfortable with that first. Because you will either fit a role or you will not fit a role.
Be comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah. Be comfortable in your own skin and then it'll take off, because that'll be the point where you'll sit with someone like Lodeki and be like, let's write this play.
Yeah.
Or let's write this film and then let's produce it. Because you're comfortable in your skin. Whereas it'll be like, hey, that producer didn't call me. No, but it's also from above. This is why I brought that director in, is everything with her is a conversation. She's cutthroat, she works really hard. It's a challenge, which it should be. But after work, you can have a conversation with her. And she'll tell you, ABCD didn't work because of ABCD. And there was nothing personal meant, but it didn't work because of ABCD. And that's where we need to start moving towards. Our directors need to become, and writers need to become a little more easy to communicate with. And our actors need to be given the space to communicate to the superiors. So it needs to, all those things need to happen. But like we laughed about earlier, is Hollywood and Hindi film industry, they've been working since the 1920s.
Yeah.
we are just starting. So
Yes.
again, taking that pressure off.
Yes.
Of, you know, we have to produce the next Kenyan Transformers in the next 2 years. It's not happening. Oh, it can happen. Let me not say it. It can happen, but
no. We need to be realistic.
But we need to be
need
realistic.
to be realistic.
Yeah.
It's a step after another step after another step, because even now we are also still thinking on what name can we give our industry. We are still there. We're still thinking, you know.
the Kenyan film industry.
I think KFC is working on it.
Yeah.
They'll be calling stakeholders. This is what they announced during the Kalash.
It's a thing happening? Like
Yes.
it's a conversation?
Yeah, it's a conversation in
Wow.
process.
Okay.
So the one they'll call just a few stakeholders, sit down and try to figure out what can we call this industry. So you see, we have a long way to go. We have a long to go.
Oh gosh, I can't believe that's a conversation happening. But okay, I mean, it's like, yeah, that's, I think, I keep learning this about us as Kenyans.
Yeah.
We are so critical
to
ourselves and to our fellow people, because it's a blessing and a curse. Because the blessing is that Kenyans are highly educated.
Yeah, we
They're
are.
very. I think someone should test Kenyan IQ, because like Kenyan people know a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Forgive my French. Kenyan people know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing because then you can do a lot with that information. But the curse is that we're so critical of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like a whole board has been asked to sit down to give us a name for an industry. Guys, seriously.
We have to.
Can we make a film with that board? And not sit and discuss a name? Or, yeah, like
There's
perspectives.
On a lighter note, there's a book I once read. There was a team of people who were meeting to discuss how to eradicate hunger disaster in a particular setup of a country. But when they were meeting, they had a lot of things to eat as they discuss hunger disaster. Quite ironic. My people, this has been one of those greatest conversations. And Tirath is such a good storyteller. We can keep talking about our industry, and he can keep on, just telling us stories. Before we leave, Tirath, anything you should tell us?
Just thank you for reaching out.
Yeah.
We had a conversation after hours. Was it 11?
It was so late.
It was 11:40 something.
Yes.
PM.
PM.
What were we doing awake? Anyway, on Instagram, Lodeki is like, let's have a conversation. And I respond, yeah, sure, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Professional hours, people. But anyway, no, thank you for reaching out.
Yeah.
And, after Subira's time, 7 years ago, that was a really, bright point in the career.
Yes.
I feel like I'm starting out again, and it's nice to reconnect with people that I met back then.
I've known you for 7 years.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you can say you've known me for 7 years.
Very nice.
But yeah, no, thank you for inviting me, and thanks for having the conversation.
Thank you for accepting the invite. It doesn't that there are people you reach out to and they tell you no. They even tell you, why are you texting me this late? But thank you so much for accepting the invite.
You caught me on a good day. I would have ignored till the next day. I would never say, why have you texted me? But I would have said, I would have texted you the next day. Just be like, you see, this is why we need to be professional, No need to tell someone, oh, many texts are easy kwa nini. Just be like, let the message stay. And then text in the morning when you're available.
Amazing. And this is something I'll tell you guys. If you want to reach out to something that you want in life, just ask. I asked Tirath to come on the show. He came. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for just agreeing to come and sit here. It's been like an hour of discussion. And we want to see more of you. We want to see more of your projects. We want to see more of your films. And from us, we wish you the best. And as much as we don't have physical flowers, we are giving you your flowers as you're still around.
Thank you. I feel the spiritual exchange of flowers, so we're good.
Amazing, amazing. My people, remember to follow Tirath on each platform that is on. He's on Instagram. You're on TikTok?
I'm not, actually.
You're not on TikTok?
No.
Why?
I'm not on TikTok.
It's the new media.
I know. Yeah, no,
Okay.
let's not have that discussion. But you can find me on Instagram at tirath.sing_p. That's the page I'm using so far. Yeah, TikTok, and I am on Twitter. I don't use Twitter as much. I do like my peace when I'm not working. So
TikTok and Twitter is chaotic.
TikTok
I
and Twitter
understand.
can be a little chaotic, and can be, in this dramatic age of distraction, there's a lot of problems in the world.
Yeah.
So I'll preserve my peace and just stay on Instagram.
Amazing. He's on Instagram, guys. You follow him. Just tap into his creative works and get to know him, his upcoming projects. Just connect with him. Remember, this episode was shot at Hoyofai Creatives. We have this amazing place, guys. You can come here to create your shows, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, online. You can come and create your podcast. We are always open. We are located on Brickwood Apartments, Lantana Road in Westlands. Follow our Cinema and Theatre Break show, and let's keep making the world a better place. From me to you guys, have a great time.